Hey everyone, again, welcome back to GISC 126, Fundamentals of GIS. So in this video lecture, we'll continue with data visualization and cartography principles by looking at visual variables. So in its simplest level of representation, spatial data exists as points, lines, or areas. You encode meaning into these basic shapes through a process of symbolization. So symbols allow you to illustrate a unique difference between the features, some differences in magnitude between features, or other characteristics. So symbolization can take on a range of functions on a map, but should be clear, concise, and easily understood by the user. So in many ways, symbolization can be regarded as the coding of map features to communicate meaning. So the diagram shown here sets out a range of ways in which you can modify the symbolization of a feature to give different meaning. So assigning meaning to a symbol generally means deciding whether you're showing a quantitative or qualitative difference. That is, a difference in size or type. Of the two diagram sets, which one would be used to represent qualitative data? The one on the right is for qualitative data. To understand this, let's look at the hue for a point. So the colors are blue, green, and red, which would best represent different features, such different types of crime, for example. So using crime as an example, blue might represent auto theft, green, assault, and red, murder. All we're saying about these crimes is the type and where they occur. So in this video, I'm going to limit my discussion to visual variables of hue, value, saturation, shape, and size. So the success of many thematic maps, such as choropleth maps, depends upon understanding how we manipulate colors to systematically encode our geographic data using the three dimensions of color: hue, lightness, and saturation. So in the map on the right, the incorrect hue, green, is being used because green is not associated with the Democratic or Republican Party. So hue, in a sense, has meaning. Sometimes colors, for example, brighter, like red, represents heat or magnitude or intensity, where blues might be more calming effect. Also, blues represent water bodies. So if you're mapping lakes, you probably would not want to map your lakes green or red. So importance is hue has meaning. So here is an example of hue, value, and saturation. So hue is a dominant wavelength that we think of as color. So different hues have different categories of data. Saturation is a range from white to pure color. So higher saturation usually means more of importance. So in this example, if we're mapping population density in a choropleth map, where population density is low, would be a very light green, closer to white. Where if the population density is high, it would be that brighter, pure color, higher saturation green. Value is the amount of black in the color. So the darker, more important, or greater magnitude is going to be the darker areas. So here's an example to illustrate how hues, saturations are used incorrectly. We'll just go over those quickly. Poor qualitative colors, because we have in the upper left for favorite hot dog condiment, we have ketchup, mustard, and relish. This, by going from a lighter color to a darker color, kind of illustrates that there's some kind of magnitude. So areas where there's red, darker, more of something. But we're just trying to map qualitative data, not quantitative data. So here, on the right-hand side, ketchup, mustard, relish. Probably a better organization there. Ketchup is red, mustard is yellow, relish is green. There's no suggestion of order or magnitude. So the fallen and can't get up on the lower left, hue series masks the order of the data, right? They've taken hue or color that is appropriate for qualitative data, where we can't, if we were to cover up those numbers there, we would not be able to tell that purple is more than that darker rust brown color, orange color, whatever that is. So we can't see any order. Whereas if we did this on a better scale of going from light to dark, this value reveals the order of the data. So the symbols, the colors you use are very important in a map. It's just not picking colors that, oh, it looks pretty, and map that. You've got to use something that's very specific for the data type, whether it's quantitative or qualitative data. So shapes. Shapes should be used to categorize features that are qualitative differences. For example, a square is not more or less than a circle. It simply represents a difference in kind. Like in this example, circles are burglary and squares are drug dealing. We can't say anything else other than that of what they're happening. We don't know if there are more burglary or more drug dealing or what type. All we know is that burglary and drug dealing are occurring at these locations. So here's a great map that illustrates how shapes are inappropriately used for quantitative data. So shapes should not be used to map qualitative data. Very important. Don't use shapes to map qualitative data. So I have covered up the legend to illustrate this. So this map shows the prevalence of current symptoms of asthma prevalence. So prevalence is a rate. So tell me, which symbol represents the highest prevalence rate of asthma? Can you tell me? You might as well just guess, because you're never going to know. Because you can't say diamonds are more than circles, right? For example. So let me uncover this legend. Now let's uncover this, and in a well-constructed map, the map reader should be able to interpret the information without the legend. But since they use diamond or these symbols incorrectly, we can't. It makes no sense that a square is going to have less prevalence than a star. So, while this is a great map, and you can find these maps online, and this organization up there made this map and published it, they used the incorrect symbology for this. It should have been this is a quantitative map, but they used qualitative symbols. So cartographers use size to show magnitude of the data represented. Size is used to map quantitative data, not nominal data. For example, in the map on the left, a larger circle signifies a greater quantity of Walmart stores than a smaller circle. So that's appropriate to do. So in the bus route map, the thicker the line, the greater the ridership. Again, that's kind of an easy way to do. Another example of kind of a way of using symbology to illustrate these things. So the map on the left shows population using texture, also referred to as pattern. So don't mix combinations of colors and shading and cross-hatching to represent data classes. Cross-hatching patterns used in this way make it difficult to determine sequential values. Also, as a side note, the cyan color is very difficult to read. It's just a bad map. The map on the right uses texture in an appropriate way with nominal data. So here, all we're showing is agriculture, industry, services, and so forth, but we're not showing any kind of magnitude. There's not more of agriculture than there is industry, and so forth. All we're showing is they are where they are. On that note, have a great day.